An older Nigerian woman peels a herbal mask off her face, revealing deep tribal marks beneath. Her eyes are fierce and steady. The kola nut was offered 3 times before Mama Ifeoma Okonkwo finally accepted it. That was the tradition. You do not eat anything offered in mourning until the ritual is complete. But her hands were trembling. Sweat rolled down her neck even though harmattan was biting the night air. Her husband, Chief Ogbara Okonkwo, had been buried only 9 days ago. His mansion on Bordeaux Road still smelled of incense and expensive perfume. Hundreds of mourners had come and gone. But inside her private bedroom, only the village Dibia stood before her with clouded eyes and a heavy voice. "My daughter," Dibia Nwosu whispered, "your husband did not die the way they told you. Something has been drinking his blood for years. And now, that something is moving toward you." Mama Ifeoma blinked. "I don't understand, Father." He was poisoned, slowly, carefully, by someone who sat at his own table. Her legs shook. "Who?" The Dibia lowered his head. "The blood in the chalk speaks of names beginning with U and a woman whose laughter has no warmth." The room spun. Her husband's brother, Chief Ugo, and her own daughter-in-law, Nkiru. When the Dibia left, she sat alone for hours, holding her late husband's framed photograph. Obina, her only son, had already taken the keys to the mansion. He barely spoke to her anymore. Every decision in the house now passed through Nkiru's smile. She stared at the photograph. "Ifeoma," Ogbara's voice echoed in her memory. "If anything ever happens to me, protect our son. Promise me." She had promised. Now she had to keep that promise, even if it meant losing herself entirely. By sunrise, Mama Ifeoma had called her oldest confidant, Mama Ibere, into the inner room. Ibere was a former market woman who had once helped her run from a jealous co-wife 26 years ago. She was the only human being Mama Ifeoma trusted completely. "You cannot stay here as the madam," Ibere whispered, sipping bitter cola. "They will finish you like they finished your husband." "Then what do I do?" Ibere smiled slowly. "Become a stranger. Come into your own house as a hired house girl. Watch with your own eyes. Listen with your own ears. Then act when God opens the door." Mama Ifeoma's heart hammered. A billionaire's widow, daughter of 2 senior chiefs, scrubbing floors in her own mansion. The shame. But the memory of Ogbara's voice pushed her forward. By afternoon, she had cut her expensive lace wrapper into a worn piece of Ankara. She braided her hair tightly under a faded head tie. She wrapped her face with a homemade herbal mask to hide her famous tribal marks. She walked with a stoop, spoke with a rural Igbo accent, and called herself simply Mama Ego. 6 days later, a new housegirl arrived at the Okonkwo compound. She carried a small raffia bag, wore cheap slippers, and bowed low as she was led through the gates. The gateman, Friday, barely looked at her. "Wait there," he said, chewing his kola nut lazily. "Madame will come and interview you." "That one," another gateman hissed. "She will not last. My sister worked here last month, and they ran her out for blinking too much." But when Nkiru arrived, Mama Ego's heart nearly stopped. Her daughter-in-law walked in like she owned the sun. Yellow French manicure, diamond anklet, phone glued to her ear. A new designer bag swung from her wrist. "You are the new girl?" Nkiru asked, eyes half closed. "Yes, madam." "Call me Ma. What is your name?" "Mama Ego, Ma." "Where are you from?" A remote village in Anambra, far from here. I came to Lagos because there is no food at home." Nkiru sighed dramatically. "You people always come from villages with the same story. Anyway, start tomorrow. The kitchen, the bathroom upstairs, and the floors. Don't you ever enter the master's bedroom or the inner parlor. If you do, you will go the same day you came." She walked away, leaving a whisper of expensive perfume. Mama Ego swallowed hard. Her own daughter-in-law. The girl she had personally picked from her village. The girl she had sponsored through university. Now speaking to her like she was dirt. Emeka, the chef, was a quiet man. He had worked in the mansion for 10 years, ever since Ogbara brought him from his mother's kitchen. But lately, his behavior had changed. He whispered more. He took too many phone calls. He smiled at nothing. On the third day, Mama Ego watched him from the kitchen doorway. He was pouring a small dark bottle into a simmering pot of egusi soup. She saw it clearly. He stirred quickly, then wrapped the empty bottle in foil and shoved it into the burning charcoal heap. Her blood froze. That was not palm oil. That was something else. She walked in slowly, pretending not to notice. "Chef, the soup smells nice." Emeka turned, startled. Mama Ego, you scared me. Have you not been working upstairs?" "Yes, sir. I came down for water." "Don't you ever come into my kitchen without permission." "Forgive me, sir." He waved her away. But she had seen what she saw. She crept back, under the excuse of fetching firewood, and pulled the burnt bottle from the charcoal with a stick. Only the foil was left. But on the foil, scratched with a pin, were tiny letters. She could not read them yet. She wrapped the foil in her wrapper and hid it in the bench she sat on outside. That night, while the rest of the household slept, Mama Ego crept through the corridor. She had earlier noticed a strange pattern. Every Wednesday, at exactly 11 p.m., Nkiru left Obina's bedroom and walked quietly to the kitchen store. She pressed her ear to the door. Nkiru's whisper, "The new one is too curious. We need to speed up. Papa cannot delay this month." Emeka's voice, low, "I have tripled the dose as you asked, but the old woman is suspicious. Yesterday she asked about my herbs. Worry about her when it's time. First, ensure Obina signs the documents tomorrow. Once the entire estate moves to Ugo, we run. Africa, Dubai, honeymoon, forever." Mama Ego nearly fell backwards. The estate. They were planning to transfer Ogbara's entire empire, the oil blocks, the hotels, the Lagos property, to Chief Ugo. Then disappear with Nkiru and Emeka. She staggered to her small corner near the kitchen. Her heart beat so loud she thought the walls heard it. Chief Ugo was Ogbara's younger brother. The same brother who had wept like a baby at the burial. The same brother who had said, "I will take care of my sister-in-law and her son till I die." She whispered into the night air, "So this is what burial tears mean." She reached for her hidden phone, the small old Nokia buried in her wrapper. She pressed one button. It was Mama Ebere. The phone rang twice and stopped. Help was coming. 3 days later, Mama Ekene, Obina's biological grandmother, arrived from the village in a fleet of buses. She was a loud, heavy woman with a voice that could wake the dead. She had always claimed Ogbara stole her son from her. Now, she stomped into the mansion and announced loudly, "Where is my grandson? Bring him! And where is that woman from his father's side? Let me see her. I want to spit on the ground where she walks." Mama Ego was sweeping the corridor when Mama Ekene passed. The old woman kicked her bucket. "You! Clean your face first before my eyes catch you. Forgive me, Mama. I am not your Mama. Don't call me Mama. She walked on into the parlor, throwing her wrapper on the sofa. Obina came down quickly, smiling his respectful smile. Nkiru followed behind, holding her arm like the daughter she never was. The conversation turned to family inheritance. Mama Ekene spoke like a chief delivering judgment. Your father's brother will hold the property for the family. It is the Igbo way. A woman cannot inherit what a man built. Mama Ego froze at the door. So all three of them were in this together. Ekene, Nkiru, Ugo, all collecting beautifully from Ogbara's grave. She moved to the kitchen window. She could hear Emeka again, on the phone. Yes, sir, the old chef is ready. Tomorrow night, in the soup. She will not wake up. Mama Ego ran to the bag of charcoal where she had kept the foil. She pulled out the small piece and walked into the linen store. There was a Bible so old it smelled of her grandmother. She held the foil under the lamplight. The scratched letters now made sense. Poison. Slow. 3 doses. Final week. Her husband had received 3 doses before he coughed blood on a Tuesday morning and never woke up. Mama Ego quietly sent her Nokia to Mama Ebere with one urgent message. Bring Dibia and Wosu tomorrow. Come as visitors. Do not let anyone know. The next afternoon, 2 women arrived at the gate in old wrappers, pretending to be palm oil sellers. The gateman waved them in without checks. Mama Ebere led them straight to the kitchen where Mama Ego stood. Nwosu, she whispered. Tell me again. What did the chalk say? The Dibia closed her eyes. 3 of them. A man with a familiar face, a woman who laughs without love, and a mother whose stomach is full of curses. They are feeding you with death. Open your eyes, daughter. Mama Ego broke down. Her body shook. The tears that had been hiding in her chest for 9 days poured out. The healer held her. My daughter, Nwosu whispered. Your husband did not die of sickness. He died of 3 years of slow poison. They have been putting it in his food, in his water, in his tea. The same dose, the same hands, the same mouths smiling at his table. Mama Ego covered her mouth. The shock was so heavy her legs gave way. Her husband of 34 years, gone. Not by God's call, by murder, by family. She cried so loud the Gotman came running, but she covered quickly, yelling, My leg seized! They helped her up, cursed her village ancestors, and walked away. 2 nights later, a meeting was called at the mansion. Chief Ugo arrived with 2 lawyers and 3 fake family elders. Obina sat quietly, dressed in white, a sign he had consulted the oracle. Nkiru sat beside him, holding his hand. Nkiru smiled. My husband has agreed to transfer the estate documents to Chief Ugo as the family has requested. It is the best for everyone. Obina nodded slowly. I trust my uncle. Mama Ego hid behind the kitchen wall. The lawyers were spreading documents, pens were clicking. 36 signatures were needed to seal Ogbara's empire into his brother's hands. Permanently. A total of more than 12 billion naira in assets. This is a mistake, sir! The voice came from the kitchen. Everyone turned. Mama Ego walked into the parlor. She was trembling, but her eyes were steady. Forgive me, masters, but a poor house girl has seen things she cannot keep silent about. Nkiru hissed. Get her out! Are you mad? But Obina raised his hand. Let her speak. He had always been a soft boy. Still was. Mama Ego looked directly at Chief Ugo. "Master, who makes your soup?" She pointed at Emeka, who was now trembling at the door. "Last week, he poured this out of this bottle into your brother's food." She unwrapped the foil piece. "It was poison. The chef has been feeding your brother poison since 2022. Panic. Confused whispers. Ugo's face went blank. Then Mama Ego walked forward, pulled off her herbal mask, lowered her head tie, and revealed her tribal marks. "My name is not Mama Ego. I am Ifeoma Okonkwo. Chief Ogbara was my husband. And you, all of you, have been trying to kill me." The room screamed. Nkiru ran to Obina. "It is her! She is crazy! Security!" But Obina looked at his father's photograph on the wall, then at his mother, then at his uncle, then at the foil in her hands. "Daddy did not die of sickness?" His voice cracked like wet paper. Ugo swallowed hard. "My brother, this woman has lost her mind." "She has not," Mama Ego said quietly. She walked to her phone and pressed play. The recording of the kitchen meeting. Nkiru's voice. Emeka's voice. About triple doses. About Dubai. About disappearing forever. Nkiru collapsed on the floor. Emeka tried to run, but the gatemen blocked him. Chief Ugo stood frozen. The lawyers slowly closed their files. The next morning, Mama Ifoma called for an open compound meeting. She invited family, neighbors, market women, church members, even journalists. The full Bordillan community turned up. Hundreds of chairs, cameras, murmurs. Obina stood beside her. He had not slept in 2 days. His eyes were swollen, but his back was straight. Mama Ifoma addressed the crowd in 5 languages: Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, English, and Pidgin. She showed the foil. She played the recording. She invited Dibia Nwosu, who spoke openly about her late husband's slow death. The crowd gasped. Women wept. Men shook their heads. A pastor opened the Bible. Proverbs 6:16-19 says, "God hates hands that shed innocent blood." Today, 6 hands are exposed. Police officers arrived. Emeka was arrested at the gate, bags still packed for his flight. Nkiru fainted twice. Chief Ugo's lawyers bailed him out, but the family court immediately froze all estate documents. The 12 billion naira estate protected. Obina held his mother. "Mama, I did not know. I am sorry." Mama Ifoma cried quietly. "My son, I do not blame you. I blame myself. I left your father's side when I should have stayed closer. I trusted people I should have watched. But God gave me a second chance, and I took it." 3 months later, the mansion gates were repainted. The kitchen was cleaned. New staff were carefully selected by Mama Ifoma herself. Emeka had been sentenced to 15 years. Nkiru had been deported from her mother's village in disgrace. Chief Ugo had disappeared from public life, his reputation broken. Obina, now the rightful heir, ran the businesses with humility and wisdom taught by his mother. Mama Ifoma stood at her bedroom window one quiet morning, looking down at the garden where her late husband used to sit with his morning tea. The sun was rising slowly. Birds were singing. The danger had passed. Her phone buzzed. It was Mama Ebere. "Sister, how do you feel?" Mama Ifoma smiled softly. "I feel like a woman who was almost erased, but refused to disappear." She kissed her husband's framed photograph one more time and whispered, "Rest now, my love. Your son is safe. Your house is whole. And the woman you trusted with your heart has finally done what she promised." She watched the sunrise. The blood in the chalk had spoken. But God had spoken louder.